The next 16 months in America and globally are going to be some of the biggest changes we've ever seen in our history. So, today's video, I'm going to break down the changing world order and some of the things that happened on July 4th in America as we were looking over this way. Remember, as we look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. The beautiful thing about this, if you can find the beauty within the darkness, it's the greatest time in human history to shift your family's timeline. We've helped over 6,700 warriors worldwide now since 2020. Understand there is no invisible enemy. It's in the beginning becomes the end. It's your decisions, your actions, your behaviors the next 16 to 24 months that are radically going to transform your family's life. Now remember, indecision is a decision. In the description down below, you can sign up for our Warrior Academy, or if you're interested in understanding the infinity banking concept on becoming your own banker through Index Universal Life, I'm a licensed insurance agent, and I've developed a team to support the hundreds of applications coming in. So once you fill out the application, you'll meet with one of our team members. I want to put a caution out there. Remember, never send anybody money on WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram. We do not invest people's money. You'll be meeting with a licensed insurance agent. It's an insurance contract. Inside our Warrior Academy, it's an education academy. We do not invest people's money. Those are all scammers. Be very careful. We finally got verified on Instagram. We're verified here on YouTube and Twitter. But on TikTok, it is impossible to get verified. So in the description down below, I just want to put that warning out there. It's very important. But let's dive into this today. So happy after Independence Day, right? So independence is here and here, but I'm going to show you this, and all of you guys should be studying Ray Dalio's The Changing World Order. We had some crazy news going on yesterday, but what is happening right now is the darkness is coming to light. Okay. Industrial, the old 1% ecosystem is starting to unravel right now. Okay. All this stuff that they did behind the scenes is now the curtain is being revealed. Things can only be done for a long period of time, for a certain period of time in darkness, and eventually it's going to come to light because now the can has been kicked down the road so far. Let's pause for just a moment before we head into this and explain where we're at right now. In America, 120% debt to income ratio. We could not even buy a car if we walked into a dealership. Okay. So we have more debt than we have actual money. We have a horrible, horrible economic system where your dollar is my debt. So all of our money is debt in the system. There is not enough money to service your deposits in the bank. Okay. We can go deep into this. Pension funds are all jacked up. They have to borrow for critical services. They have to keep extending or suspending the debt ceiling to borrow for critical services. And you guys are using your investment strategy as hopefully I'll have Social Security. Think about that for just a moment. Pensions are dead. 401ks, hardly anybody retires wealthy with a 401k. The old system is completely smashed now. Okay. And we're in this crazy next 16 months up until I think it's November 4th, 2024, the new presidential election, where you're going to see more chaos than you've ever seen in your life. The distractions are going to get absolutely crazy. So if we take a look at this on the screen here, this is The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. If you look at the rise, the top, and then the decline, unfortunately, we are now on the decline in America and specifically globally as well. You're seeing this in France. There's a lot of chaos going on in France. I'm going to talk about Russia today. I'm going to talk about Ukraine today. We're going to talk about the craziness happening within America. And as I present these facts, figures, numbers, logic that are being put out on the news, I'm not sharing for or against. I'm putting the logical circuit together and making decisions based on supporting my family. Okay. Left, right, up, down, birds of a feather fly together. So be very careful with the distractions, guys. So if you look at right here, you see in America, right? Well, let's go through this. So number one is strong leadership. Number two is inventiveness, education, strong culture. Good resources is number five. Good competitiveness, strong income growth, strong markets and financial centers. So America was rising and rising and rising and rising. And now we started to go into the less productive. Americans are lazy. We hardly work hard anymore. We're the most undisciplined people in the world. It's a fact. We have the most alcohol abuse, the most opiate abuse, the most suicide in the freest country in the world. We became less productive, number nine. Number 10, we became overextended. Americans borrow money to buy a flat screen TV. We'll spend thousands of dollars on a cell phone, but we won't invest anything into ourselves. Number 11, we started losing competitiveness. And number 12, the wealth gaps became massive since 1971. When we detached from the gold standard, and money became fiat, you see the wealth gap. The productivity continued to stay the same, but the amount of money you got paid stayed flat. The top 1% grew by, I think it was, oh man, the numbers are not in my head anymore. I think it's like 138%, and the bottom quartile only grew by like 15%. So check the numbers. It's a radical difference, right? So now we're in massive wealth gaps right now. And if you watch my video yesterday, I showed you how big the wealth gaps are getting from 2020 to 2021. Number 13, large debts. America is buried in debt, and most of our debt is held in China and Japan. 33% of our debt is held outside the United States. American consumers, the consumer credit index is at an all-time high right now. Americans are leveraged like crazy. Interest rates are through the roof. Most people can't make their payments. I told people in 2022, you're going to see the reverberation effect in Q3, Q4, 2023, and now we're heading into it. People told me I was crazy. It's just like a ripple, right? If a boat is driving on a very flat sea, the ripple from the boat takes a while to get to shore. So while it's going to shore, they're going to tell you everything's good. Look at the current moment right now. Everything is good. Remember, in the beginning, your decisions now have an ending to it. Now we're going to start to experience the end, which is going to be massive job layoffs. The capital markets, I believe, are going to come soften on the back end of this year, going to come down quite a bit. So people in their 401k and the capital markets are going to lose a lot of money. They're going to panic sell, right? And then all of us are going to be buying the dip, and then we're going to see a massive parabolic move as a presidential election comes in next year, my opinion. Number 14 was printing money. They turned the printing machine on full blast in 2020, but it had been turned on since 2012 with Obama's rescue plan. A lot of stuff happened in 2012. The Mayan calendar end, which was the death of the old, the birth of the new. You had the FOMC, Future Oversight Committee, which Gary Gensler was one of the starts of those, which is regulating non-bank financial institutions because they knew this was coming. Rosie Rios in 2012 was told to reduce coin and cash usage, but she couldn't because the printing machine was turned on. And when the printing machines turn on, the baby boomers are the largest wealth holders, and they increased their coin and cash usage. So they needed a shock to the system. 2020, we had a shock to the system. Then you start heading into internal conflict, where we're at number 15 now. So we're heading into internal conflict, which I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Number 16 is loss of reserve currency. Number 17 is weak leadership, which we kind of hopped to number 17, right? And then you have civil war and revolution. So we're right now heading from 14 to 15, and the loss of the reserve currency, I think, is going to take a bit. It's not going to be this overnight thing. A lot of people, say, oh, there was a switch hit on July 4th. There's a switch hit on July 20th. And there was a switch hit. Guys, there's no switch being hit. It's a slow, methodical transition. America's handing over its power, whatever that means, empowerment, power, whatever. There's politics and money go hand in hand. It's all been that way forever, guys. It's like when there's money and power and there's a greed gene, and all of us have the greed gene. All of us have the greed gene. That's who can control that mechanism, right? All of us have darkness, but it's who can control that mechanism. It's those who stay close to their soul and stay close to the light, stay close to Christ, or whatever you believe in. I believe in Christ. The closer I can get to earth and Christ and higher consciousness, the further I get away from darkness, right? But when I attach myself to matter, physical things in the world, identity, power, cars, houses, I get further away from my soul, and we become a soulless society, which where we're at right now. I digress. But this gets crazy. This is where we kind of go into the news. It was all over the place yesterday. So it says judge limits Biden's administration contact with social media firms, ruling. And so what I'm sharing with you guys is you're going to start to see civil unrest within America. Left going against right, transgender versus no transgender, African-American versus white, all these things. You guys realize the left and right are designed to get us to fight, right? We're pointing out differences that we didn't care about before. Think about that. Why are we arguing? Why are we going backwards in society? Why are we all pointing out our differences? Think about that for just a moment. They're wanting the fights. They allow the fights. So things go viral. The more controversial it is, the more viral it goes, right? And they shows right here, or Who knows? This is news, right? This came out on July 4th. It says a federal judge in Louisiana ruled Tuesday that Biden's administration likely violated the First Amendment by censoring unfavorable views on social media over the course of Corona C word, calling the efforts Orwellian. I don't know what that means. U.S. District Court Judge Terry Daughtry also issued a sweeping preliminary injunction barring numerous federal officials, agencies, including Surgeon General, Health Human Services, that names these people, White House Press Secretary, and all employees of the Justice Department and FBI from having any contact with social media firms for the purpose of discouraging or removing First Amendment protected speech. So they're saying that they were, manipulating and molding speech and things like that to fulfill an agenda. And yesterday, cocaine found in the White House sparks brief evacuation. Also on July 4th, okay, this is very important to understand. We're now heading into the absolute chaos. It says, this is from the Ukrainian president, says now we have information from intelligence that Russian military has placed objects resembling explosives on the roof of several power units of the, I can't pronounce that, a nuclear war plant. Perhaps to simulate an attack on the plant. Perhaps they have some, keep saying perhaps they have some scenario. But in any case, the world sees, can't but see that only the source of danger to the nuclear plant is Russia and no one else. Unfortunately, there was no timely and large-scale response to the terrorist attack on the power plant. And this may incite the Kremlin to commit new evil. It is the responsibility of everyone in the world to stop it. No one can stand aside as radiation affects everyone. This is kind of crazy, guys. Did you watch the video? Put the right here. Watch the video that I showed you yesterday from Patrick Ben David. For all the commenters down there, Patrick Bet David and his interview with the colonel yesterday. Pretty interesting. This lines up exactly with what he said. All I know is if we go back here, I'm just following this. I'm just following the facts, figures, numbers, logic. And this is something that's happened over the last 500 years over and over and over again. So I'm just following the news and just lining it up with the changing world order and making decisions for my family, to protect my family, to build my family's wealth so that I can be completely, I'm already free, but to have the physical manifestation of the ability to do what I want, when I want, how I want, using the resource called currency. Russia has planted suspected explosives on the nuclear power plant. President claims come after meeting with Emmanuel Macron, and Russians competing claim that Ukraine was planning its own attack on the plant. So now we're seeing this back and forth. But I'm going to go into my knowledge around macro and microeconomics, and this is from the Market Insider. We talked about this right when Russia invaded Ukraine. Immediately, America took them off the SWIFT system, right? So in 2020, we went into this pandemic, shut us down globally. You need a shock to the system. Everybody got onto online banking. All the banking systems started to change. The infrastructure started to change. We went into 2022, 2021 was kind of chaotic. Then we went into 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. They take us off the SWIFT system. Supply chain gets completely busted and broken down, right? Now we head into 2023. Now we see all these inside of America. Everybody starts going against each other. Civil war, right? Now you're starting to see global war. And after global war, there's a changing world order or a changing superpower. When you have a changing superpower, you have a change in a monetary system and current structures. So since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, both Beijing and Moscow have ramped up their efforts to promote de-dollarization, the moment to reduce other countries' reliance on the greenback. That's because the dollar's dominance in trade is a huge source of economic strength for the U.S. For example, it enabled Washington to freeze half of Russia's foreign currency reserves and ban its biggest banks from SWIFT international system after the war broke out. By design? Coincidence? I'm not sure. China has repeatedly asked the trading partners to settle commodities contracts using the renminbi rather than the greenback. Well, Putin said last year that Russia is ready to work with all fair parties to create a new reserve based on a basket of currencies, including Brazil, the Real, the Indian Rupee, Chinese Yuan, Russia Ruble, and South Africa Rand. The leaders of both Brazil, South Africa, both also questioned the dollar's dominance last month, with South Africa President Cyril saying that the currency would be on the agenda with the BRICS groups. So they meet in August. Okay. So what I'm just showing you guys, I'm showing the change in world order, and then we can see the facts, figures, numbers lining up. I think we can all agree that the next 16 to 24 months are going to be a radical transformation. Why? Because number one, we're switching into a new monetary system. And this has been going on for a long time, guys. I think we've all been played for a while with a lot of these YouTubers and TikTokers and, using these dates and switches and things like that, guys. It's been planned for a very long time. 2009, Bitcoin's inception. We had the BRICS countries formed in 2009. The actual official BRICS countries, I think in 2006, it was a rumor, I think by Goldman Sachs created that name. Then they connected, right? And then we've had this crazy monetary system of just low interest rates, printing machine turn on full blast. And they have what's called the Cantillon effect. Some people call that a conspiracy theory, where the money goes to the top of the house and it bleeds down to the bottom. But remember, the money comes from the top. It's printed. It goes into the people. The people put it back into the bank, into a fixed account. The fixed account takes it and re-lends it back out into the system, puts it back into the capital market, supporting their brothers and sisters that are in the stock market, and they put it into BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. And the money recycles back over and over and over again. Then you get to a point where we're at now, where they have to switch the system. They're packed. Their bags are packed. The 1% became much wealthier. Since 2020 to now, their wealth increased dramatically. So the wealth gap increased dramatically. And when the middle class gets wiped out, moving down to the working poor, it causes absolute chaos within the communities. They're up in their high tower. They don't care about you. And we all fight down here, and they watch us go back and forth in the Coliseum as a Trojan horse comes in and a brand new system comes in. And very few people awaken to this reality. The old system of going to school, getting a job, getting a 401k, when only 294,000 millionaire accounts with Fidelity, the largest 401k holder, only 294,000 millionaire accounts. And when the markets collapsed in 2022, 38% of those lost that value. And that's the system that you're supposed to retire with. That's your future. You're sitting in your job right now. You got about 20 years to retirement, and you're going to retire with $300,000 or maybe $100,000 sitting in your retirement account right now. If you don't have a couple million sitting in your retirement account right now, you got to make some changes. Number one is you have to increase your earning capacity. There's many ways you can do that. Number two is, after you increase your earning capacity, you got to keep your expenses low. Number three is you got to create a budget and reduce the actual output and bring in more cash flow. Once you do that, you have to understand how the system works. You have to understand a bank account is a fixed account. You need to start doing what the banks do. You need to start leveraging your money, opportunity cost of money. When you get money in your bank account, you need to grow that. Richest man in Babylon, brother and sister. So when money comes into your account, you should be paying yourself first. And when you pay yourself first, you start to diversify, and you start to see at a very small level that you can start to multiply your money. When you start to multiply your money, eventually when you retire, you should be not trading time for money. You should be using money to free up your time. And by the time you retire, if you do it properly and you do it methodically and you're patient, the person who's in the market the longest will do the best. You will see that your friends right now that are trying to get rich quick will be the ones that are working at Walmart to pay for their medication. No disrespect to people. I'm just saying, it makes me very sad when I see somebody that should be retired sitting there. I actually talked to a lady. This is where I got this from. I love having conversations with. I had a conversation with a lady one time. I said, "Well, why do you work at Walmart? You should be retired." She's like, "I have to pay for my medication." It broke my heart. And I was like, this is not okay. That's someone's grandma. That's someone's mom. And if I saw my mom working at Walmart, I would get a second job. There's no fucking way I would have my mom or my baby mamas or my partner, anybody in my ecosystem, going to work a second fucking job to pay for their medication. That's where we need to rise up. Men, women, head of household, like you see your mom or your baby mama working multiple jobs, that is completely out of line, in my opinion. These people brought you into the world. These people brought a child into the world. We should be stepping up and rising up. And that doesn't mean going against anybody. So there's something I'm very passionate about, very, very passionate about when it comes to men not taking care of their moms or not taking care of the baby mamas or taking care of their partners or their wife, spouse, partner, or loved one. That shit pisses me off. And this is what's wrong with our country is these fatherless children and these men not stepping up and this, and it's a chaotic environment. It really is. You can pull pornography up on your phone in a second when you used to have to make effort to go do that stuff. It's right there in the palm of your hand. Sin is everywhere. Remember, sin does not exist. You invite sin into your life. So men, it's time to rise up, and women too. I'm speaking to everybody. I'm a man, so I can speak to men specifically, right? I had to get my shit together. I was I call it sloppy McSloppy, man. 17 years ago, I was a drug addict, horrible father, committed suicide, one of the most selfish acts you can do. I rose back up and I still was sloppy McSloppy, man. I was trying to live for the world and trying to impress people I didn't even like, buying shit that, didn't even matter. The BMWs, all this. This is why my hair is thinning right here, guys. I had that line, the little 50s haircut, the banker haircut. And I had it and my freaking got this line. And I get to look at that every freaking day. It's all balding all the way back here because I wanted to look a certain way because I thought that's what success looks like. I am more successful I've ever been in my life, and I dress in shorts and I'm wearing swim trunks right now. I'm not even wearing shoes. Success is not a look, it's a feeling, it's a vibration. I don't agree with, and that's okay. It's okay to disagree and to agree to disagree. These men out there saying you have to dress to impress, I don't have to do anything. I show up as me, a vibrational frequency. Success isn't a look, it's a thing, it's an embodiment, it's an acceptance as if it already exists. It's taking care of your responsibilities and the things the decisions you made. Because in the beginning is the end, the decision you made to bring a child into the world. Right. And maybe your dad stepped out and take care of your mom. Then it's your responsibility to take care of your mom. And I know you probably say, oh, they're adults. They can take care of themselves. They brought you into the world. I'm so grateful to my mom to bring me into this world and my mom to believe in me. God damn willing, I would never let my mom end up in that situation. Nor would I let any of my baby mamas end up in that situation. Baby mamas, I got 2 baby mamas. Or my partner. I would never do that. It doesn't exist in my bloodline, and I will not teach my children to do the same thing. I will teach my children to do the same thing. My son is being raised to respect his mother, to honor his mother. All right. I don't know why that came from my heart. So it has nothing to do with macro microeconomics. It does, though. It does. It has to do with the whole ecosystem. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Love you having part of our team. Also, a lot of people have been asking. Yes, I'm developing an insurance team. We now have 20. It's growing really fast. So bear with us, guys, just to kind of give you an aspect. So I got licensed 2 months ago. It's been 2 months, 8 weeks ago. So I went through the licensing process and I knew I was going to build my insurance company. So I got licensed so I could build an insurance company. We launched it. We had no idea the response we'd have. I already have 27 people on my team. We have close to, I think, bear with us because I think we're at like 130 applications. So I have a whole team of people working on these applications. And so if you want to join my life insurance team, we'll help you get licensed. We'll help you understand. I mean, you have to go through the licensing process, pay for your own licensing and stuff, but we'll help you understand how we scale, how we build businesses, how we educate people. Because getting licensed is one thing, but understanding how to scale a business and get the information out to people. Remember, the reason why I have hundreds of appointments for Index Universal Life is because I'm not selling you a product. I believe in the product. I've used it for 2.5 years. That's why people are coming to. Remember, if you're in sales or you're selling a product, if you're trying to convince people the product is good, then they're never going to buy it. When you embody it and you believe in it, people buy your belief in anything, right? I believe in IUL. I believe in infinity banking. I've used it for over, I think it's 2 years and 8 months to be fair, before I ever even got licensed, right? I've referred millions of dollars in business before I ever got licensed. So remember, if you're in something where you're selling a product to the marketplace or you're a business owner, it's your belief in your product that people buy, not your ability to articulate the product. So I just want to bring that up. So coming on my team is not a get rich quick. It's hard work, dedication, and discipline, but a great way to help your family. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.